Welcome back to more stupid laws that are actually on the books here in America. Out of the state of Minnesota, it is illegal for a cat to chase a dog up a light pole. Why? What dog you ever seen run up a light pole? You ever seen it? You ever seen a cat chase a dog up a light pole? No, you haven't. Now, also in Minnesota, it is illegal for a man to have extracurricular activities with his wife if his breath smells like onions or garlic. Why is that a law? It's actually biblical. If you go to the book of Peppermint, chapter 1, verse 11, it says, if your breath smells like trash, thou shalt not smash.
Hey guys, it took me a minute to come back because I was still laughing. Every time I hear it, I laugh, which I think is a great platform that he has to do this. But I'm so honored to bring on Officer Kevin Eudy. How are you, sir?
I am well, ma'am. I hope you are.
I am. And, I meant to tell you this when we were off camera. At first, I was like, the ma'am thing, I have to get used to that. And I know it's probably just a thing. But then I'm like, wait a minute, you're 33 years old. And I'm quite a bit older, so I'm okay with it.
Hey, my grandmother beat it into me when I was a kid. So now it's just kind of a force of habit. So.
Well, and I told you my mom's outside, so I don't even need her in here to get me if I don't call you sir or Officer Eudy or so.
Yes, ma'am. You just call me Kevin. It's fine.
All right. Well, welcome. I'm glad we finally get a chance to do this because I just found during the quarantine, I learned about TikTok. I think a lot of people did, especially us over 30. But you've been doing this for a while, and your content, one, it is hilarious. Like, I don't think anybody can watch it and not laugh. Or
yes, ma'am.
Honestly, if I'm having a bad day, I'll be like, what's Eudy up to? Let's see and there's always something there to make me laugh or be like, okay, I needed that. So how did this whole TikTok thing get started?
Yes, ma'am. Back in December, I had a couple of buddies of mine who kind of joined into it. They were law enforcement as well. And they hit me up and they was like, dude, this is just a great platform for you. They said, you're always cracking jokes and you do it in such a respectful yet playful manner. They think you would be really good at it. So it kind of just started off as a joke between me and my friends to say, hey, listen, if I'm able to brighten one or two people's day, kind of see a different side of what law enforcement does. We're not just robots. We're roaming around writing citations and doing things like that. And then it just kind of, it was almost like it was overnight. It just kind of exploded into what it is now. And it's been really incredible journey to meet so many different people from every walk of life. I've heard stories people's reached out to me that it's been in domestic situations. People's reached out to me that's been in, having anxiety issues, they're having a bad day, they're contemplating suicide. So I've been very fortunate to speak with several individuals, and I'm not an expert in much of anything. But one gift I feel like God gave me was the ability to talk with people and to be empathetic with what they're going through. So what kind of started off as just playful has turned into, like, I guess for me, like a movement for me. It's just become something that like every day I feel like I need to do something, and every day I feel like I can reach a different audience just based on the content that I have.
Right. Well, and because blow up is kind of exactly what you did. Like 1.2 million followers. That's crazy.
It's mind blowing.
And then 21.8 million likes. It's hard to get 4 people to like anything, but
yes,
that all agree on the same thing that they want to click like on. So that is crazy. And I want to talk real quick because I was reading on your website, because this has turned into a much bigger thing that you can do to give back, more so than just on TikTok. There's a website, which is, it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen, but it's Officer Eudy, no underscore, just officereudy.com. And then Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. So people can find you everywhere. You have merchandise up there, the Florida shirts.
Yes, ma'am.
And would be Florida shirts.
Yeah.
The you say Florida. What? Yeah. The you say what shirts. Oh shoot, hand sanitizer and turn signals. And what's the other one?
Put a little Eudy on it.
Yes. So there's 4 different shirts up there, and I'm gonna place my order when we get done. I literally had started doing it because I was like, I need one of these shirts. But you got into law enforcement. I mean, you're young. You are
Yes,
young.
ma'am.
I mean, you're 33 now, and
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
no secret. It's on the website, so I'm not telling any age secrets.
You're good.
And you've been an officer for 10 years.
Yes, ma'am. Coming
So
up on 10 years in January.
So you decided that at 23.
Yes, ma'am.
Kevin, I have a son who's 22.
Yes, ma'am.
One, I wouldn't trust him to. I can't imagine him making that decision. Now,
yes, ma'am.
You did that after a lot of obstacles in your life, but
yes, ma'am.
Tell us what inspired you to do that. It was your mom, correct?
Yeah, it was my mom. Unfortunately, my mom was killed in a domestic violence related incident in 2006. It was the same guy that I grew up with, my stepfather. I mean, I didn't consider him that. He was an extremely abusive childhood. As I got older, I got a little smarter and I removed myself from the situation. I moved in with my father. However, my mother, which I didn't understand at the time, like I do now, because I didn't understand how domestic violence worked,
right.
And the mindset and the stranglehold basically of your mind and mentality that they have. So when she passed away, I went into a dark place for about 6 months where I was angry with everybody. I was angry with God. I was angry with my family. I was really angry with myself. And said, I woke up one day and I had just happened to walk by a mirror. And it was kind of like God grabbed me and was like, dude, what man do you want to be? Who do you want to be? So I kind of set forth the path to get into law enforcement because my mindset was that if I can prevent one child from going through what I had to go through, then my career would be set. Whether I spent 5 years, 30 years, 10 years, it didn't matter. If I was able to prevent one child from having to deal with what I did, that's what I went into. And it just so happened that, every agency that I've been with and everybody that I've done in law enforcement, they've always told me, they've always said, they call me a silver-tongued devil because they say your patience with people and the way you talk with people and have so much kind and humbleness in your heart. And I was like, that's because I never had anything when I was a kid. I was never supposed to be where I am now.
And the shirt, I hope that a shirt does come out that says, because there's a quote on your website, be the person you needed when you were younger.
Absolutely.
Look, I got goosebumps. As a mom, I'm thinking, wow, I can't imagine my son or my daughter and them not having me. If that, what a great thing though. What a great way to look at things. And I'm like tongue tied for words. I'm really trying not to cry because I tend to do that a lot on here when I'm doing interviews and I start talking about things. And I don't know, you can probably see up in the bottom corner there, people's comments as they come in. So, but you all, and you and your partner, Officer Scales, I don't want to, he has not told me I could call him anything but that yet. So I'm going to stick with Officer Scales, are building this website to do motivational speaking, humanizing the badge. And you all are people, but you're also law enforcement officers, but there's a need out there for good men to set examples, not even just for young children, but for teenagers and young adults. So where do you all see this going? And how did the two of you decide, okay, we're going to do this thing and make it bigger?
I was Scale Sergeant when I worked in Charlotte for about 2 years, and then I switched agencies. So it's actually 3 parties right now. It's myself, Scales, and then the bearded police who's on TikTok. His name is Aaron. He's an officer. He's actually my partner and my closest friend. And basically, Scales reached out to me and he was like, dude, he said, have you seen the guy that goes around giving all the police officers hugs? I'm like, yeah. He's like, one thing that we don't have, he said, we don't have officers who are willing to go out to neighborhoods and talk with people, to have tough conversations and to love people. So him and I sat down, we designed a shirt that says, yes, I'm a cop, but I love you. And on the back of it, it says free hugs. And eventually they will actually be put out on the website. And our goal for this is we want to build a platform to where any money that we generate, 40 to 50% of that will go back into a organization, a community, someone or some event that is hurting, that is struggling, whether it be for educational needs, whether it be for supplies, whether it be for food, whether it be for training. And basically, we want to make it not only motivational, but we want it to be comical as well. We want, when you come out to these events, when we have these events, we want you to walk away not only with your stomach hurting from laughter, but your heart filled with joy. Um, because we're going to have tough conversations. We're not going to shy away from questions. We're not going to shy away from answering those questions. And if we don't know the answers, we're willing to throw caution to the wind and reach out to people to get those answers. But where we'd like to see it go is we'd like for it to start small. A few communities, maybe feed some communities, pass out some shirts, pass out some clothes, school supplies, things like that. And then eventually we'd like to grow it. Our goal is to vlog about all of this on YouTube.
Right.
You can follow my YouTube at officer_Eudy, and basically vlog about all of this until we're able to, when Corona and all this stuff, other stuff clears, until we're able to actually set an event date to where people can actually come out and get a microphone and talk and answer questions and just see us interact in person.
Well, and I think that's so important, because I don't want to go too deep in it, because we could probably spend a long time talking about this. And I do want to I want to kind of get the serious stuff out of the way here real quick, but it's a tough time for you guys right now. I mean, with you officers that are doing your job and are doing it for the right reasons, and it's tough on you all. And I feel like my heart breaks for you all, because I appreciate what you do, why you do it, that you're out there. Because in case anybody doesn't realize, officers do not make a ton of money. I mean, it is not this greatly paid position. So the only reason I can ever imagine anybody would put their life on the line like that for the rest of us is because that's what you feel called to do. And we know your reasons for it. And so I have to imagine that every officer, either it's been handed down through generations or it is something they've been called to do. But how is it? How are the tensions in North Carolina for you and where you are? And I mean, how are you all coping with it?
I'm not gonna lie. The past 3 weeks have probably been the most frustrating I've ever been in law enforcement. Each and every day I set a standard when I go out and I put that uniform on, is to make sure that no matter how many bad interactions you've had with a law enforcement, when you leave after speaking with me, you can say I've at least had one good interaction. And again, that's not always 100%. Each situation is going to be handled differently. Each situation is going to be addressed separately. But for the most part, I've been extremely blessed, because a lot of the people that I interact with on TikTok and other social medias have been super, super kind and supportive of me. I have received a few death threats from people who don't know me. But the great thing about that is 2 of those individuals who sent that were willing to have a conversation with me. And after that conversation, they were like, I'm going to follow you because you showed me something I haven't seen before. And for me, like I said, I don't ever block anybody for hate, because and then people ask me, it's like, dude, why do you not block people that hate on you? I'm like, because they've never had a good experience with law enforcement. And I said, so the first time they say something that I don't like and I block them, I said, is that supposed to change their mind? I said, no. I said, I'm not going to sit here and I'm going to have a conversation with them. I'm going to listen to them, and then I'm going to tell them where I come from. Now, we don't have to agree on it, but at least they can say, hey, he was willing to have that conversation with me.
Right. Well, and I wish that so many more people, not just law enforcement, but people in general, would be willing to have that conversation with each other, because there is definitely a need for conversation about anything, from why you don't like a certain TV show to something else. And I'll say this too, because I know we did talk about this off camera, that there are bad apples in every profession out there. It doesn't mean that the whole profession is bad. And
absolutely.
Thank you so much. And you all don't like the bad apples any more than we do. So
not even a little bit.
I appreciate what you do every day as a law enforcement officer. So I want to move on just a little bit to Okay, I mean, you are getting gifts in the mail. You
Yes,
got a
ma'am.
really cool microphone flag for
Yes,
your
ma'am.
You Say What. And I want you to know, here's what we even did is, let's see if I can turn this. We even added a new decoration. We have some dum-dums.
Oh, nice. Love it. Love it.
We have some dum-dums for up here now because there are some crazy, stupid laws, some crazy people. I know there was one, and I responded to you on this one, although look, you get so many that I don't expect you to remember it. It was the stupid law, and I don't even remember the state, where a horse has to have taillights.
Yeah, I believe. Oh, yeah. Oh my. I think that was Connecticut. Maybe it was like Connecticut. That was. I forgot what state it was. Yeah, that was. Oh my
And you
lord.
said, somebody show me some horse with taillights. I sent that to
Yeah,
you.
you did send. I remember
I
you did send it to me.
And there was a horse with taillights. But I mean, these stupid laws. What's the off the top of your head, the stupidest law that you're just like, what?
The one that comes to mind is in Oregon. You can't show up for jury duty dead. Who showed up dead? Like, like I got questions. I mean, I'm trying to figure out who showed up dead.
Like, did the coffin roll up in there or what?
Like I don't. When I read that, I'm like, there's no way. So I fact checked myself to say, dude, is this for real? And it was like, yeah, it's like you can't show up dead for jury duty. I'm like, are they talking about like inside? Like, am I just dead inside, or like we just physical? I mean, good lord.
Yeah, that's a whole different meaning on it. And what about did this Florida thing just kick off because there's that many people in Florida that need some dum dums?
No, it was actually a couple of friends of mine that I've actually met on TikTok. They reached out to me and they was like, "Dude, you got to start looking up this Florida man thing. It's crazy." So I started looking at them, and then I did one episode, and the amount of people who sent me messages who live in Florida, they was like, "Dude, I live in Florida. Do this. I live in Florida. Do this." And then it just like every one that I read, I'm like, what is happening in America right now? And so it was just kind of one of those things that it kind of just took off, and it was kind of like that Florida moment. And it was like I said, it's just been fun. Like, and it's just something like I can't run out of this stuff because people send me stuff every day with somebody doing something crazy.
Okay, and the one yesterday, I'm not going to go into detail about it, but y'all go to Officer Eudy, like Officer underscore Eudy, Eudy on TikTok, and look at what the Detroit sex worker, look at the article, because really, oh, anyway, Kevin, what is up with North Carolina and these fireflies? I had never experienced not fireflies, fire ants. I had never ever been bit by a fire ant until North Carolina 2 years ago. And I was like, what the hell? They're
Yeah, they're
crazy.
Satan's mutants. Yeah, they're Satan's little mutants.
I mean, and we're in Kentucky. We may have them here, but even in Florida, they're spark ants compared to what North Carolina has.
Yeah, I can't even remember how the first time I actually got bit by a fire ant. It felt like I had got my tongue stuck in a wood chipper. I mean, it was god awful. And like I mean, it's like I don't know where they come from. Like I know that there's different species of ants. They got the sugar ants, the pea ants. I mean, North Carolina is basically an Amazon jungle full of junk that you can just throw everywhere.
We were down there for 4th of July. We were camping in a tent because we didn't have our RV set up yet. We were going to head to Camp Lejeune to cover that Base Fest down there that year. And we were packing up the tent, and I stepped right into a hole, and I was like, oh, what? I don't. And Mark's looking at me going, okay, they're fire ants, the Benadryl. I was like, I have never seen anything like that in my life. Yeah, that was, that was a little crazy.
That's why you ask anybody in North Carolina, we see fire ants, we light them on fire. We pour gasoline and yeah, we don't play. We send them right back where they came from.
Well, hell is definitely where they came from. And
Oh,
I don't even understand. They don't have a purpose. There's not a purpose for something like that.
no.
What do your kids think about all this?
My son absolutely is amazed by it. Like if we go out somewhere and they're like, "Hey, are you off shooting?" My son's like, "Dad, you're famous." I'm like, "Baby, I'm not famous." I said, "People just happen to recognize me." I said, "That is not famous." So my son tells all his friends on Xbox, "My daddy's famous." I'm like,
Oh,
"Baby, stop! I'm not famous." But my kids love it. My son, like I said, he loves doing my little "you say what" shirt shows and stuff like that. And every once in a while, I'll let him get in there. TikTok is real funny about kids being on. Like I
yeah,
said, I've seen people get booted off live for their kids just walking past the screen. And so I try to run that fine line to where I don't do it as much, just because I don't want to ban something. Because like
right,
at this point, like I mean, if TikTok were to go away, I would be okay because I've still built a platform on other medias that I
right,
can able to talk to. Um, but there still feel there's so many people out there I have yet to reach and talk with. So I try to be very respectful and ride that line. Even when I go live on TikTok, I don't do certain things on live just
right.
because I'm not trying to get jammed up. But my son is he's 9, so he is over the moon about it. Thinks it's the coolest thing in the world. Um, my daughter, on the other hand, she it gets a little she watches way too much TikTok, and I tell her not to, but she gets on her YouTube. So she pulls out her little iPad, and because she doesn't have TikTok, and she'll do these little savage dances and everything like that. And I've told her, I'm like, you're gonna get daddy put in prison if you keep playing with me. That's what's gonna happen. So, but no, they enjoy it, and I enjoy it too. So,
And this is the same boy that was clicking
yes,
the
ma'am.
that
The
the
very
honking
same
the
one.
horn. Okay, well, at least he has seems to have your sense of humor.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, he definitely does. He's got a mouth like I do, and my sense of humor. So we butt heads a lot.
Yeah, but what a great relationship y'all are going to have when he's older, though.
Oh
And
yeah, no,
your
that's my
poor
baby.
daughter, I kind of feel sorry for her having an older brother and then having a daddy that they're both that are a lot alike.
Oh yeah, she
um,
is she is in a rude awakening when she gets older.
yeah, or any boyfriends. I just I feel for her. um, but I wanted to thank you again. I could hold you up here all night. We could have tons of conversations about a lot of things, but I want I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for what you do. Um, maybe it doesn't feel like a big deal to you some days, like like that you're not famous, but you are to a lot of us who enjoy being able to have that uplifting laugh, or that the people out there that do need to hear it. And I think that you're great and a positive role model for humankind in general, not just a younger version. Or I don't. I could just sit here and praise you because I want to say I'm proud of you. That's coming from a mom standpoint of if I was
Yes, ma'am.
seeing my son do this. I mean, I'm proud of what you've done with your life, and I have no doubt that your mother is looking over you and extremely proud. And
Thank you.
and I cannot wait to see where this goes. If we can ever be of any help, if you all want to come on and we'll talk about stuff, or if you want, we can run press releases. We'll show up out of it in my deaf dogs barking in the background. We'll drive the RV down to wherever you all are and we'll clear out the fire ants, and then we can have a conversation. But we'll do whatever we need to help you all. And we're on board. And I'm so honored that you took some time with us today because I know you are very, very busy. So
No, no,
thank you.
I, uh, I for one would like to say thank you to you for having me. Like I said, you are another voice that I'm able to use to reach someone else. And it's crazy because I get so much compliments to say thank you, but you don't realize like over the past month, like mentally I've struggled a lot with law enforcement and everything going on in the world. So getting on here and doing these little videos, I don't always feel like it. I said, but the comments and the messages and things that I get, so as equally as thankful as you guys are for me, I am over the moon thankful for everything that you represent because you are who I am. You speak for me, and it's crazy because I've had people reach out to me and they said you have such a loyal fan base, and I don't even consider you fans. I consider you friends and family. So from the bottom of my heart, like I said, and my family, we are forever grateful for all the opportunities you provide for us. And I am super, super excited to see this get bigger and bigger, and
Yeah.
hopefully turn into something to where we are moving not only United States, but moving mountains and moving the oceans and moving cross seas, and making it something that's the worldwide. That's the goal and that's the vision. And like I
Right.
said, every success story starts with a failure, so I'm not scared to fall. So for that, I certainly just want to say thank you for having me and reaching out. I would love to come back with Officer Scales and
Absolutely.
Aaron. And with Aaron, so you can sit down and speak with all three of us, because each one of us come from a different walk of life. Each one of us have a different perspective of where we want this to go.
Yeah, I think it would be great. Apparently my father, I just got a message that my father is watching. So even though he's right outside here, he's watching us too. So
Nice.
um there he said, "Hi, Dad. I love y'all, but I'm trying to do an interview." But we will in every one of those failures or triumphs, we will fall with you, we will rise with you, we will do whatever you need for us to do to help. So you all have an open invitation anytime. Send us a text, we'll definitely do it. And if not, we'll just drive on down there and do something down there with you all. Whatever you all need, we've got your backs.
That
So
would be amazing. We appreciate it. And like I said, I'll be in touch with you soon. Again, thank
okay,
you for the opportunity, and
you're
hope you guys have a
welcome.
blessed evening.
Okay, you too. And if you'll hang out with me for just a quick
Okay.
second, you all make sure you go and look him up, follow him on TikTok. And in case something happens with TikTok, you never know, make sure you go to Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Officer_Eudy, EUDY. And then the website is Officer Eudy. There's no underscore, just officereudy.com. You all take care. Make sure you go and follow him. He's doing great things.